right, next up on the agenda, I wanted to talk about Willie Nelson and Orville Peck have released a song that has been out forever. Okay, the song has been out for 43 odd years. The song is
Yeah, I was
called
like, it was 1981.
1981, right? And the song is called Cowboys Are Frequently Secretly Fond of Each Other. This is an LGBTQIA country song. Again, written in 1981 by a guy by the name of Ned Sublette. And this song was written during the urban cowboy era, back in those days when, LGBTQIA was not quite accepted then. It's a little more accepted
Nope.
now, thankfully. Hopefully, we can get it more accepted tomorrow and more accepted the day after that. The song was also released by Willie Nelson in 2006 as part of the Brokeback Mountain stuff. If you guys remember that movie that came out with Heath Ledger, and I think it won an Oscar, perhaps. It was a fabulous, fabulous movie called Brokeback Mountain. And somehow Willie Nelson heard of a gentleman by the name of Orville Peck, who is a gay country singer. And Willie Nelson, being who he is, come up with the idea to do a duet with Orville Peck. And I love this. I absolutely love this. I
I
have
do too.
goosebumps on my arms right now. I mean, Orville Peck is he's an openly gay country artist, and obviously he is in a genre, in a world where being openly gay is probably not as marketable as not being openly gay. So
Absolutely.
for Willie Nelson to reach out for this is just amazing. What say you, Kadie?
That's exactly what I thought. I was reading about it and everything, like, what happened behind the scenes, and the fact that Willie asked him, just that's awesome. That's awesome. There's a lot of stigma around the community, especially with like with old country comes a lot of
Stigma.
stigma, yes, regarding that, and it's hard to do that without people in the like country community kind of losing it a little bit. But I mean, what are you gonna do? It's Willie Nelson.
Yep. So
Are you gonna
again,
be mad? There's no way you can be.
Orville Peck is quoted as saying that he sometimes felt excluded from the country music industry. This is a direct quote, due to his sexuality, and that is what made Willie Nelson's stamp of approval extra special to him, as you can.
Absolutely.
I mean, holy crap, right? So the question is to you, Katie Lynn, why are artists being excluded for who or what they are, rather than what they can do?
It's out of the norm. I mean, anything not normal is definitely anything to be like questioned.
Mhm.
Like anything, like for example, me, I have a lot of piercings, tattoos, and stuff going on. I'd be a little bit, eh. Everyone wants like a family friendly kind of thing, but we want blonde hair, blue eyes,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. That's what everyone wants. And when you're a little bit out of the normal, whatever way that may be, it makes
So
people feel
that's a
good.
good point. That was another thing we were going to discuss later in the show, but since you brought it up now, we'll talk about it now. Why
Yeah.
is it? Why do you think that other people's freedom of expression, meaning you and me, I have purple hair, I have colored nails, you have facial jewelry, and some people would say a different haircut or a different look, right?
I got a mullet.
So my question is, why does my freedom of expression or your freedom of expression, why does that trigger other people so badly, do you think?
I really just think it's because people are scared of the unknown, and it's just now to the point where people are openly expressing themselves, like, and not caring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because people have been expressing themselves, like, with their pops of color, like, whatever now, but people are, like, doing my kind of stuff. Like, I have the weirdest haircut you have probably, like, think about 50 years ago versus now. Like, how
Mm-hmm.
much has changed and how much, like, people are expressing themselves. Yep. So, and people, for some reason, I mean, it goes generation to generation, so it's like instilled in everybody, but as things are changing around them, for some reason, there's still a stigma, even though, it's 2024.
Well, I mean, if you think about it over the history of the world, especially in this country,
Hmm.
somebody somewhere had to make something normal,
Hmm.
right? So
Why is that normal?
it brings me to Rosa Parks. You know, I'm no Rosa Parks, and I know Katie Lynn is never going to ever claim to be a Rosa Parks either. But before Rosa Parks, black people were not allowed to sit anywhere
Hmm.
but the back of the bus.
Hmm.
And so that was a thing before Rosa Parks and before the other folks like her that put their foot down on that. And women's rights to vote and black people's rights to vote. You know, there were times before where that was not normal. Guys
Yeah.
having long hair in the 50s or 40s and 50s back then, not normal. Somebody had to
Hmm.
come along and make that part of everyday society before some of the traditional folks started seeing that as part of normal.
Hmm.
So the question is it because of tradition or is it because of freedom envy that people might be a little bit upset with our expression?
I think it's that too, because growing up, teenager, right? You're trying to find yourself, and I always knew I was a bit weird. All my friends always said I was weird, and I never really fit in. I tried so hard to fit in,
Mm-hmm.
like so hard, and I never got mad at people, but I would be like kind of judgmental here and there because
Mm-hmm.
I guess that is what it is. I mean, but as a teenager, that's one thing. But people like I guess because it's like it's what's instilled in them. It is a tradition. In people's minds, I feel like it's like a almost a moral thing.
Do you think they're do you think they are locked up almost like a prisoner within their tradition?
Oh, absolutely. And within that tradition, that could be for multiple different reasons, whether that's, being raised maybe in a certain area of the world or like in a certain area of the United States,
Mm-hmm.
whether like southern or northern or.
For me, I look this way because I want folks to know that I'm a safe place.
Absolutely.
And so my freedom of expression is just it's a life raft to folks that are afraid to exist. And I
Hmm.
want those people to know that I'm okay. I'm safe. And if you need a life raft, I am that for those people. And
Absolutely.
so the way I look is just a simple representation of that. I am happily married. I have been a heterosexual my entire life. I don't expect that to change anytime soon, much to the happiness of my wife, who's right over there. And I'll keep it real. I have purple hair. I have nails, and my wife is the one that did all of this to me. And she loves it. So um, I feel like people, if they had the opportunity to express themselves in a more open fashion, um, they
It would
would.
be a
I think
happier
they would.
place.
And the fact of the matter is, I think every single person on this planet is weird in some fashion.
Oh yeah.
And
Everybody's got their thing.
and weird is wonderful. And the people out there that are trying to suppress weird, I I
All
just
weird.
I just don't understand why people feel the need to do that for other people when nobody's infringing on their freedom of expression. So
And
why?
not only that, like a lot of times it restrict like hair, like your colored hair. I know for a job, I my hair was blue. I had to dye it dark just to be able to work there.
Right.
And piercings and everything, you have to completely conform. First, like, why is this the normal? Just because it has been forever. In tattoos have been around for so long. Piercings are, starting to become acceptable, but tattoos are for some reason still like
It's so weird. It's
it is
just
very weird.
so you. It's so funny. She cannot see my notes, guys. She can't, but she's feeding. It's like she can because she's feeding me. So I was just about to say that employment and religion are the two biggest detriments to open expression,
Yep.
at least in the U.S. Either you're employed by somebody who doesn't like it or doesn't want it, or your religion frowns upon doing
Yep.
certain things and looking certain ways. So my question is, if these things were less stringent by employers and by religion, if they were less stringent on what normal is, do you think more people would express themselves in the way you and I have?
Absolutely. Like I've always felt this way on the inside, but I'm only 20, so I've just now started like changing my look and everything as of, the past few years. But, everyone I have is like a normal friend and they've been here with me through like the changes and everything. And, they're like, I love your septum piercing. I would love to get it pierced. And it's just like, no, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? It's just, even like I see it all the time. Like people are like, I want that, but no. And usually it is because of like a religion thing, whether it's because of them or like a family. Um, that was a big thing for me. I mean, I know I have a lot of family members that have tattoos and stuff, but like the hair and the piercings and the gauges and all that kind of stuff. Big change, and my family had a hard time getting used to it, and a lot of people around me had a hard time getting used to it. And some people were just like, never want to deal with you again. But that doesn't change who you are.
Katie's still the same person. You're still the same person. In fact, I personally feel that that is the definition of bravery, of courage, of just all of that, because we live in Texas, and Texas doesn't conform to open expression very often, unfortunately. And so I know I'm not going to speak for Kadie, but I'm sure she probably feels this way in some aspect. Anytime I go in public, I feel like an island. I absolutely feel like an island.
Oh, yeah. And where I'm at, and I know where you're at too, like, me, I'm a little closer to Dallas. So when you get up closer that way, it's cool, but I'm like in Waxahachie area, and that's still like a small town. Like it's a lot of people, but it's still a small town. You have like a lot of money here as well, and that being another big another big thing.
Well, just real quick, we have about 5 minutes, so we have to refresh the Zoom. But real quick, I saw a post on Facebook recently. I'm not sure where the post was made from. I probably should have looked into it more, but I wasn't expecting to actually talk about it. But many of you, if you're on Facebook, you've probably seen the post that I'm about to refer to. Basically, it's a guy that works at Walmart, and he's got facial tattoos. And the Walmart that he works at, wherever that is, was doing a spotlight post on him for being an amazing employee. And so they made him Employee of the Month, and they took a picture of him in the produce department, and they put it on Facebook with this awesome blurb about what a great worker he is. And literally the entire comment section is about what kind of awful human being that this person is, because he has his wife's name tattooed above his left eyebrow.
Hey, and you remember, I don't remember how long ago this was. It was a few years ago, but there was this guy, and he was just like, everyone thought he was gorgeous, and it was a mugshot, and he had tattoos all over his face. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So that's hot, but...
I mean, apparently if you have tattoos above the neck, that makes you automatically a felon. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. I have one, too, but I have the beard, so, sorry.
It covers, yeah.
Yeah, but, no, I have a Red Sox tattoo right here.
Yeah.
I know you've seen it. All right, so talking about normal, weird, all of those things, let's get back to what we started with the Willie Nelson and Orville Peck thing. Because, number one, I want everybody to hear this song, especially this version. So I'm going to put this, hopefully I'll remember, old brain, but hopefully I'll remember to put a link to the song in the description below, so you guys can hopefully check that out. And apparently I was reading about it, and so Willie's wife is actually in the video.
Aww.
And the idea was put out there by Willie, I guess, that The idea was that Willie and Orville were going to actually get married in the video, and Willie's wife was going to be the minister that married them. And so I don't know why that didn't get put into the final production, but the fact that that's part of the story is pretty damn dope,
That's
if you
awesome.
ask me. I like that.
Yeah.
So here's the question, last question on the Willie Nelson stuff. Do you think that Willie Nelson might just be the most inclusive artist in all of music?
I think, man, who doesn't love him? If you don't love him, there's something wrong with you.
I mean, a global treasure.
Even if you don't like his music,
Mhm.
just Willie Nelson as a person, you can't help but love him.
Yeah. I
He
feel
is
like
just an awesome guy.
I feel like so I'm a gamer, right? So like what gamers do is we put everything in different tiers, right? So like we have S tier guns, right? So the S tier guns are always better than the A tier guns, which are better than the B tier guns.
Yeah.
S tier people on this planet right now, I have Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton, and then the rest of us are just under there somewhere, right? I mean, how can you possibly say anything bad about Willie Nelson or Dolly Parton? I feel
You
like
can't.
I feel like if you try to, it's almost like a representation of you rather than them, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, even my favorite, I'm wearing him right now, Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, you can say he's a real bad influence, so there's that, but he's a great person too. But Dolly and Willie, you can't be mad at anything.
Thank you.
There's nothing to be mad at,
So that's a
or
big
that you can even be
that's a
mad
big topic. That's a controversial topic we talked about right there. Um, just so you guys know, if you do want to send us questions, if you are watching out there, there's several different ways that you can ask us questions. You can either comment on the actual video on the YouTube, comment, and we'll get to all of the questions that are there. Or you can email us at etxrocks@gmail.com, etxrocks@gmail.com, or you can comment on her stuff, comment on my stuff, wherever you see this shared. We will be notified of that, and one or the both of us will write down that question. We will answer all good questions, probably even some bad ones, live on air, so keep that in mind. Another thing that Kadie and I are hoping to do in the future with this show is perhaps do some live stuff on Twitch as well, which honestly would be as simple as me just
a lot of
pushing a
fun.
button right now. We could be live with the simple push of a button, but we have to make sure that people are going to watch before we do that.